I'm trying to touch the states this time. 2021. Yeah, show him I can still rap though.
Now I'm in the game, I was on the bench. First I was renting, now I'm collecting rent. Run it up. First it with the Beamer, now I want the Benz. Spending all the bag like here I go again. Outside says the chirp, now the Qerim phone. Told you I'ma keep the channels on. Why you acting different when the camera's on? Why you acting different like your paper long? 8 day wake up and I thank God. Bad decision got you wishing you could say nah. My city gritty, you could get hit any day now. On my mama, I'ma move my family way out. With some 20s, 50s, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, zillions. I'm talking Amazon money, talking so much money I could mess around and buy Amazon. I been winning, I'm like, why me? I heard these labels wanna buy me.
What's good with your fam? Glad you're checking back in. This is LeBron J, aka Bruce Wayne, out this month, and definitely appreciate you getting back, man. How was your day? Did you miss me? Well, check this out. I'm getting into some topics, man. So I really appreciate everybody, touching down, checking in. Definitely let me know where you're from in the comments. Let me know where you're from. But I got something to start. I want to start a fire here. I typically don't usually do this on my channel. I got two channels. I got the TNJ Radio, which I usually talk about politics and vice, just life and money and different things like that. I usually use this channel for sports, but I'm gonna kind of break it up a little bit. Up to talk about some current issues. Like if you're here for the first time, definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and also hit that notification bell, just so you can see whenever my videos are coming out. And yeah, if you see on the other side, on top of the screen, check me out on Sundays. I was thinking about because I've been on social media arguing with people on social media about LeBron James. I like to get under people's skin because they love this guy so much. Let me move this out the way. Got my little drink here, but they love LeBron James so much. They trying to king him as the GOAT. They trying to act like he's Killmonger, and he's trying to destroy a legacy. And I see that's my problem. See, people who know me back in the day, my favorite player was not Michael Jordan, the great Michael Jordan, the great Black Cat, aka he ain't the mama, but he's the greatest. But anyway, he was my number one guy. Now he is because I like this business. I like what he do. Off the court. This guy got a lot of things. So I do like Michael, but I'm not opposed of destroying Michael. I'm not opposed of it. I'm not like Nick, right? Who just, man, them dudes is on payroll, man. I swear. Shannon Sharp is another one. Shannon Sharp, I was on social media and I saw a video where LeBron James was buying them some Jordans. He sent them some Jordans. Not Jordans, I'm sorry. He sent them some LeBrons. I don't even know who got a pair of LeBrons. That's what I want to ask. Nobody even wear them long, funny looking shoes. But anyway, he sent them a pair of shoes. So I'm wondering, are these guys on payroll? Is that why they don't say anything about it? Even Skip Bayless, because Skip Bayless always have Jordans. I wonder if he get those Jordans for free. I wonder if these guys are getting paid. See, if you look at music, right? You could go across the country, you could go to any state, and they play the same 10 songs. You wonder, like, why are they play the same 10 songs and they got the same, guy who's speaking? They must use auto tunes. Like 8.8. It's the same songs, but what then I realize is the labels pay these guys who spin the records to play the records. So they'll spend like millions of dollars and they'll just play because it's all about programming. And if you think about all these guys like the Nick Rice, I'm not saying Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp is new to the game. He played football, but he's not an idiot when it comes to programming. So when you go back to the musicians, you keep playing the song. So, perfect example. I didn't like Soldier Boy's song when he first came out. That so Superman, that all that stuff. I didn't like it. Obviously, that was for the kids. But the thing is, it kept on playing, and it kept on playing, and then all of a sudden, I start singing a song while I'm driving, and then I find myself sitting there doing a dance. Programming. Programming. It's no different than Michael Jordan. And I'm an honest guy. I still think Michael Jordan's the best, but NBC programmed him to be the best. When they got that NBC contract, because prior to that they had CBS contract where, they were playing all them little games on you see a lot of Laker games on there in Celtics, because in the 80s it was a division between races. They were on tape delay. They needed a story. So they said, oh, okay, well, let's play LA and Celtics. Even though Celtics had black players, but no one knew that because they only had Larry Bird out there and um, Kevin McHale and Danny Ainge. They used all the white folks up there, but people don't notice the Larry Bird's first championship. Cedric Maxwell was a black guy, got the MVP. He was a star of the team back then. See, people don't know that, but that was so long ago. Let me stick to the story. So the CBS they programmed everybody to say Lakers versus Celtics. It was black versus white, and that's when people start watching, because people don't. You have to have a story for people to watch. Someone got to fall in love with somebody. Somebody got to hate another person. And then when Michael Jordan came, they picked him because he was the most talented of all the players. And then they got that contract with NBC, and that's how Ahmad Rashad got so close with Michael, because he was working for them. And Jordan would win a game. They would interview him. They would follow Michael Jordan from the bathroom all the way to the court. They would follow him from the car. Everybody remember the song? It was programming. ESPN is doing that now with
Right there made you the greatest player of all time.
that guy.
LeBron James.
Right now, they're trying to program us to say that he is the best player in the world ever. And we all know that's false. So I'm here to tell you that he is not the best. I have to fight against the programming that is going on right now. And that's what I was going on on people on social media. Because they think, oh, you obsess of it. You obsess over him. No. I will not let you program me. You will not program me. Nick Wright. You will not program me. Shannon Sharp. You would not program me. He is not the best. Now, this Laker era will be forgotten. Yes. One thing about great players, because he is a great player, their worst times will be forgotten. You only need to hit the lottery once. You can play the lottery for 20 years. If you hit that Powerball, you finally win. Everybody forget how much money you spent. LeBron James failed so much, but we're trying to paint this thing like he didn't. One thing I like about Michael Jordan, and a lot of people have their reasons, because they're trying to tear down the wall of greatness. They're trying to tear this wall down. And I'm gonna get into it in a little bit. I'm gonna get into that. But we remember the 6 championships. We remember a whole decade where he dominated the league. A whole decade. Nobody got rings. Nobody. J-Lo got more rings than a lot of those athletes in the 90s. That's what we loved about it. And then he left us with the programming picture when he hit that last shot in Chicago. That's why we say whatever happened in the Wizards don't count. He was doing that for fun. He was doing that for fun. We don't want to hear that bull crap y'all talk about because you're trying to get LeBron James, who was the chosen one, to win. He's a coward. And he knows it because he left Chicago. Ask yourself on here. Ask yourself. I want you to ask yourself. Michael Jordan plays for Chicago for 11 years. 11 years. LeBron James played for Cleveland for 11 years. Who made the biggest impact? Who made the biggest impact for their team? And I did a a poll on my channel, and by a landslide, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. If you want to support the channel, definitely hit that Cash App and also Super Chat. Hit the Cash App. Appreciate you. Ask yourself, do we care about a longevity award? Ask yourself, who made a bigger impact in hip hop? LL Cool J started out in 1985. He actually blew up Def Jam with Russell Simmons. He had hits like I'm Bad, Mama Said Knock You Out, Head Sprung. He's the pioneer of hip hop. He has movies. And if you remember a movie that he did, I want you to put it in the comments. Any movie that he does. He's on TV where old white people know him on the plane, and they say, they don't even know if he raps. They say, I saw you on CSI. Because, old people only have 3 channels. Right now, they expanded it, but, they got the local channels. So they know who's on those local channels. They watch Steve Harvey every day. Ask my mother. But anyway, he did all these things. And he got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame recently. Who made a bigger impact on hip hop? LL Cool J, who have a body of work of 40 years, or Tupac? Tupac, 5 years. He did rap for 5 years in acting, and we all remember Tupac because it's not about the longevity, the Lifetime Achievement Awards. It's not about that. It's about what have you done and how you make us feel in those moments. What impact did you make? Think about Tupac. We remember his movie, Juice. If we think about it, first thing we think, Juice. I don't even know what movie that LL made. I mean, I do, but I have to really think about it and maybe even use Google. Tupac was a bigger impact in 5 years than Jay-Z was in his whole career. Jay-Z started back in 88, the same time Tupac did. So look at from 88 to 96. Who had a bigger impact? Tupac. Jay-Z needed a longevity award. He's a great businessman. Can we really say he's the best rapper? Longevity? Are we going to say longevity is the reason why he's the greatest rapper? LeBron James. Yes, he's been in the league for 20 years, but I don't really give a crap about an old player playing basketball. I go to see young players who jumping out the gym. I don't sit there and go to the YMCA to watch 40-year-olds play. And they dunk too sometimes, some of them. Because some of them are former athletes. I don't want to see that. I want to see the John Morants, the John Morants. I want to see the young players play. You had your chance, young man, old man. You old now. Think about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now, great series on it's called The Winning Time, I think, on HBO Max. Definitely watch that. I read this book um, based off the show. It's called Showtime. Man, really good. See, me, I'm a history buff now. I wasn't a history buff in school, but now I really like history because I realize history repeats itself. It repeats itself. And one thing I did like about this show, now I'm a little bit spoiler alert, but it's in the book and it really happened. The 80s was a special time. No camera phones. You was coming out of recession from the 70s. 70s was really bad, financially, but the 80s was like a party time. Everybody having relations and money was being made. People were doing drugs and things like that. Now, Magic Johnson, he better hope, allegedly. Well, this is in a book. This is according to this book, so it's not on me. But one thing for YouTubers, just remember, if you say something, you got to have a source to it. Kind of like when you're in school, so you won't plagiarize. But here, you don't want to get sued. But anyway, in the book, Magic Johnson, we all know he had AIDS or HIV. He came out in 91. It was a sad time for everybody. He was messing with like 3 to 5 girls a day. And the whole LA Laker team was doing the same thing. Once Jerry Buss got to own the team, which it shows on this first season when he bought the team, he made it like a party. Like they had this thing called Club Forum where after the games, every um baddest girl would go there, all the athletes would go there, all the entertainers, actors would go there, and they would hook up with somebody. And Magic would have these parties in the book. This ain't me saying, but it's in the book. You would have these parties with all these women wearing exotic clothes, and they would have a party. And he said by 12 o'clock, you better be doing something with some other guy. That's why I'm wondering, like, wow, if this happened, I'm surprised no one basically did a Me Too situation because these people were regular people. They were doctors, lawyers, teachers, and they would all go to his house to party and be around celebrities, and they all be doing something by 12 o'clock. But anyway, so check that out. But back to my story. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has the scoring title, and LeBron will break it. LeBron's going to break it. He has to go with individual stats because he couldn't pull up his team. But anyway, everybody say Kareem is the greatest, or some people say, because he had an unstoppable jump shot. He never lost a game until he got to the pros. He went 4 years in college. He's by far the best college basketball player ever. Him and Bill Walton. I don't believe he's the best NBA player ever. He in the 80s he did not. He sucked. I'm pretty sure people remember Kobe Bryant at the end of his career, and after Kobe started getting, I think he put so much energy into winning that third champ or that fifth championship, he burnt himself out. He wanted it so bad, and they went to the championship 3 straight years, and I think after that he burnt himself out. His body was burnt up, and he started playing poorly. The last 9 years, the Lakers had 7 losing seasons, and half of them is with him, with Kobe. Kobe was not playing very well. He was not. So all I have to say is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was not playing well either. In the finals of '84, he did horrible. Those players wanted him benched, including Magic Johnson. See, people don't know that, but he played horrible those years. His numbers declined. I think the last year he probably scored like 11, 13 points. He wasn't playing defense. It was bad. But yet he got the scoring title when he retired, I think '89. And Wilt Chamberlain could have had that. He said it multiple times. If you listen to Wilt, he said he stopped scoring because he was scoring 50 points a game and the teams wasn't winning. So then he said, all right, well, let me try to do rebounding. Let me try to do other things in part of the game. And then they end up winning the championship and as a Laker in 1973, I believe, with Wilt. But the points don't mean anything. It just I just oh, he's the greatest scorer. Yeah, of course you're going to get if you're that good and you're going to play these years, you're going to accumulate stats. Most players don't play this long. We get it. Who cares? That's baffles my mind because it's about legacy. It's about how you make someone feel. How do you make someone feel? What impact have you made? Because if you look at Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali technically is not the best boxer ever. His skills was not that great on defense. He's leaning back all the time on his back foot. Any boxer who do that, they will get knocked out. If you're leaning back and someone hits you, you're falling on the jaw. And it happened when he fought Frazier. He lost 5 times and he lost to some bums. But see, we always got clarifications and excuses. Muhammad Ali lost 5 times. He lost to some bums. Now they'll say, "Well, he had Parkinson's. You shouldn't have been fighting. Why are you still fighting then?" Because he was fighting for money. That's what it was. He lost all his money when he was trying to keep himself out of jail when he didn't want to go to the war, Vietnam War. And then he started losing so much money. He started doing motivational speaking. So when people see him clips of him talking, he was doing motivational speaking to colleges across the country trying to get money. But then he got back in the ring, and he should have retired when he beat Floyd. I mean, not Floyd Mayweather. The third time he fought Frazier, he should have retired, but he needed money. That's why he lost to Spinks, which he shouldn't have lost. He would have lost to Spinks 5, 10 years ago. Prior to that, and he lost to Holmes, and he lost to like a bunch of bums. And then the movie Rocky is based off of him getting knocked out by Chuck Wepner. Who you might ask? You don't know that guy, but that's what Rocky's made out. That's the movie because Chuck Wepner knocked him down, and then he got up. It was crazy, but shout out to Rocky Balboa. He put the greatest boxing movies out there, but the reason why these players keep playing, a lot of them, is because they're broke. What's the guy? Not Will Chamberlain, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Slipped my mind. He was playing because he needed money. By the way, hit that cash app. Hit that cash app. Hit that cash app, and also hit that uh super chats for me, please. Produce help a brother out. But anyway, but that's what happened, man. and he was playing for money. That's why this dude's a Muslim, and he was doing bad food for the black community commercials, like was the Lay's commercials and stuff, because he needed money. He was broke. He had all these kids and with his living girlfriend and stuff like that. So he was broke, but he kept on playing, and he shouldn't have played, and he ended up having that record. So this is what LeBron's doing. I don't. He should get a longevity award. He should get a lifetime achievement award. But you can't win. See, it's funny how history is going to tell the story. And one thing what I want to say, how am I going to word this? Michael Jordan talked about this. I put a video out about it, and he talked about having stats. I'm gonna see if I can pull that up real quick. Give me 1 second. But this is what he said about stat padding, like this dude is doing. And this was 20 years ago. He didn't say this now. It was a long time ago. See if I can pull this up. But stats don't mean anything. Stats is only for people who never watched you play, and they're gonna look back and say, "Hey, he was a heck of a player." Looking at these stats. Here we go. Well, my computer working a little slow because there's a storm down here in South Georgia, so it just stopped raining. But I'm surprised my internet's working right now. But anyway, stats don't mean too much. It's all about the team. We're forgetting that this is a team game. It's a team game, and the reason why we keep talking about who's the greatest is because of the narrative. It's because of the media trying to keep a job. The media started this whole argument. Who's the greatest? Who's the greatest? Who's the greatest? And it's a shame how much power the media has and how much power that the owners gave them, because they're the ones who vote them into awards and the Hall of Fame. That's why Barry Bonds, which he should be in the Hall of Fame right now, is not in the Hall of Fame. Let me share my screen real quick. But he's not in the Hall of Fame because he never talked to media. And another reason why a lot of people don't talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar being the greatest is because he hated the media. He didn't talk about him either. All right, so let me pull this up. This is check out my channel, Josie Sports Nation. It's up there, but check this video out. Oh, that ain't the one. That ain't the one. Let me back up. Here we go.
What impact does your statistical place in the NBA have on you?
Well, that never drove me. You know what I mean? The stats only add up when you put forth the effort and you don't worry about it. You know, good things happen to the people that work hard. If I sit here and play for the stats, I would have never retired in '93. Or I still probably be chasing Will Chamberlain's all-time, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar all-time scoring lead. I mean, that doesn't drive me. I mean, sure, it defines to some extent for people who don't know me on, 20 years from now would never know who Michael Jordan really is. But based on the stats, he must have been pretty decent. Those are only ways that I look at stats. Other than that, it's all about winning championships and winning. Stats that matter to me is the games that we win and the rings that you collect.
What impact does your
It's again, we're talking to the greatest athlete right there. He's the greatest basketball player ever. He's not the greatest dunker, but he's the greatest winner. Not the greatest winner, but in our lifetime, we never saw, those old players play. The oldest player I saw play was Dr. J, and he was old then. He wasn't what they said he was. He was a shell of himself playing in the 80s. You know, and so it's not like it's a team game. So, like I said, if you got to read this book, The Outliers. If anybody familiar with this book, Outliers, but it talks about things like that. Like you basically you have a whoever's in your age group. That's who you're going to deal with for the rest of your life. You're going to deal with them when it comes to business, um, sports for sure. You're going to play with that same group. When Kobe Bryant, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, they all knew each other in high school. They were playing AAU together. We didn't know that they knew each other, but they knew each other because they were playing against each other. Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant went to see Kevin Garnett when he was about to make that decision to go to the pro, and they competed all their life. That's what happens. You compete with your group. So that's why I always say LeBron James should have stuck it out. He should have stuck it out in Chicago, in Cleveland, because he was this close to winning. He was this close, and he would have won because all those players were old. Like Boston Celtics, they were old. They were wearing down. You were going to beat them anyway. You already beat Detroit. They were older. You beat them. You destroyed them. You destroyed Washington Wizards. They couldn't have nothing for you. You own the East, and the Spurs were getting old. It's funny. Like everybody talk about the Spurs. The Spurs only had one player that's in the top 75, and that was Duncan. Um, Tony Parker, which is a good player, wasn't in the top 75, or the Ginobili. He could have beat them. And then let's talk about Golden State. Golden State was not always good. If you look at Steph Curry's scouting report, he was not that great of a player. I mean, he was good, but they didn't think he was going to be that great. Let me see. Scouting report. They didn't think he was going to be this great. Let's see if I can pull it up. It says far below NBA standards in regards to explosiveness and athleticism. 6'2", he's extremely small for the NBA shooting guard position. Let me pull this up, man, because this is what I'm saying. Like he worked hard to get to where he is now. He wasn't a protege like LeBron James was. That's why we have to stop this narrative that we keep talking about this. Like they was such a super team. Now they were super when they had Kevin Durant, obviously, but the reason why Kevin Durant went there is because you went to Miami and beat him in OKC. That's why he's like, well, the gloves are off. So LeBron started this. This is player empowerment. Hmm? Must be player empowerment, huh? So this is what the NBA was saying about Steph Curry. His weaknesses far below NBA standards in regards to explosiveness and athleticism. At 6'2", he's extremely small for the NBA shooting guard position. He's a shooting guard, huh? It will likely keep him from being much of a defender as the next level. Although he's playing point guard this year, he's not a natural point guard, and the NBA teams can rely on to run a team. So they said he can't run a team because he's not a natural point guard. He struggles defensively getting around screens, which is still true today. Can overshoot and run into shots from time to time. He haven't had to deal with getting benched due to poor performance shooting, which has allowed him to shoot through any slump. We'll have to adjust to not being a volume shooter, which can have an effect on the effectiveness. Doesn't like when defenses are too physical with him. Not a great finisher around the basket due to his size and physical abilities, attributes. Makes some silly mistakes as a point guard. Need to add some muscle. All right, let's see what else this guy says. Yes, they basically said the same thing on the scouting report. But this dude became an MVP. They ain't believing this guy. He wasn't number. He, those three guys that's on that team, they're still together today because they're a team. That's the difference. They are a team. But Steph Curry, Thompson, and Draymond Green are not number one draft picks. So that basically means everybody had a shot at getting them. And the Lake in Cleveland had a shot to beat them prior to even when they had Kevin Durant. This is the time when they should have shined. You had uh, Tracy McGrady. I mean, not Tracy McGrady. You had Kyrie Irving, which was going to offset Curry, right? Because they were averaging the same amount of points. Then you have Draymond Green was watching Kevin Love, and Kevin Love was a better scorer and rebounder than him in the conference. If you look at them stats, and then you had Thompson. I mean, no, excuse me, not Thompson. You had KD and LeBron James. They were canceling each other out. They was getting 29 points a game. So it came down to coaching. So when I was watching the games when they were playing Golden State, it wasn't a blowout until the bench went on the court, and that's when Golden State started separating from themselves. And then you had the closer. So they had a shot to win. I don't want to hear that. They was pretty much lined up, matched up well. So that's the last thing I'm gonna say about that. Just ask yourself: with do we care about LeBron James having a longevity award? That's my thing. Do we even care? And I don't. I don't believe in that stuff. You know, you 4-6 in the finals. I don't care if you went to 10. That's hard, but it's better than off not getting there. To be honest, because that's the worst hurt in the world. If you get all the way up to the mountain and you fall down, you lost to Denver. I mean, you lost to Dallas. Dallas had an old point guard, Jason Kidd and Jason Terry. Come on, man. But your super team and you lost to them, and you lost to the Spurs, and you almost lost to Spurs twice. If Ray Allen didn't hit that shot, so all I have to say is when you look back, our great grandkids look at these stats, and they're gonna say, "Well, yeah, he's the scoring champ, but why he lost four 6 times out of 10? 6 out of 10, you lost in the finals." But all these LeBron people got all these excuses for him, man. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Moving on. Let's see here. What's up with this Molly, man? Did y'all hear about this Deshaun Watson contract? He's getting the bag in Cleveland. Shout out to him. Now, my Pittsburgh Steelers are in trouble, and there's some people that I argue on social media about it that they don't see nothing wrong, and they think the Steelers is going to be good. The good old Steelers. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Pittsburgh going to the Super Bowl. No, they're gonna suck. And I told people this. I said they should have been replaced Ben Roethlisberger. It's hard to get a quarterback. So now we have three great quarterbacks in this conference, let alone all the great quarterbacks that's in the AFC. You got Lamar, and you got the quarterback from Cincinnati, which just went to the Super Bowl, and now you got Deshaun Watson for Cleveland. Now Cleveland is always a accident waiting to happen. They always lose, so we'll see what happens. But man, we have no quarterback in Pittsburgh. I thought they was going to try to go after the quarterback that's at Seattle, slipped my mind. But I thought we was gonna try to go after him. He goes to Denver. He's on our side now. Aaron Rodgers was open. We ain't get him. Hopefully, we get somebody in the draft. There's the really good guy. I forgot his name, Puckett or something. He's a quarterback at Pitt. Forgive me because I don't really watch college sports, college football in general. But I know he's pretty good. So we'll see what they do in the draft. Try to move up in the draft to get it somewhere, but they need a good quarterback. So maybe I'll hold off on my thoughts on Pittsburgh to see what they do in this draft, see if they make some trades or whatever. But the people that we have right now, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. But I digress. I want to play with Molly's Qerim. I don't even know Sarah's last name, but y'all will tell me in the comments, I'm pretty sure. But I'm going to play her comments on what she said about Deshaun Watson. Check this out.
13 teams.
Sure.
You only heard the finalists. I heard 13 teams was interested in Deshaun Watson. So if 13 teams are interested in him, nobody called the league office and said, hey,
Look at
what
these
kind of
women.
punishment is coming down the pipe for this brother? They took Ben Roethlisberger into consideration. Just an allegation. He got 6 games and was ultimately reduced to 4. Michael Vick, he was incarcerated. So the league.
They got ESPN got all these woke people playing or working for this organization. In my opinion, they're feminist women who's trying to take over. They're not trying to have equality. They're trying to take people's positions. You need to watch that. But check this out.
System took care of him. And then you got other situations where people have been accused, but cases have been settled. As a result, they come back. They get a few games, but ultimately, that's what it's going to come down to. So now you get to the National Football League office, and you say, what standard should they have? Especially when somebody like Calvin Ridley has been suspended for the entire year for just betting $1,500. Well, the NFL's response is, from what I've been told, in terms of their thinking, well, there's proof there that that guy was guilty of compromising the integrity of the game because you bet on the game, whether directly or indirectly. Whereas in these cases, well, it's he says one thing, they said another. The legal system isn't throwing him in jail, and as a result, he's available for his services. This is the stance that they take. So again, it looks bad. There is no question about that. But before we look at the Cleveland Browns, you got to blame you have to blame 12 other teams, and you blame the league. And it comes down to, what do we think is should be a definitive punishment for this situation? Because a lot of times people look at the NFL and say, Molly, I'm coming to you. Yeah. They're going to say, they'll look at the league and they'll say, make a decision. What should happen? And what I want to know is, from the Mollys of the world, from the Kimberlys of the world, Mary Kay Cabot, Cleveland Plain Dealer, she's coming on the show, from Nancy Amore in the USA Today. What I want to know is, based on this situation right here, it's no longer a criminal case, it's a civil case. What exactly do you think should happen to Deshaun Watson?
Well, there's a lot of things I want to get into.
Sure.
So as far as the civil aspect, right? So we don't know whether he's won or lost any of those cases. So there's still a lot of information that we don't have. But when you talk about the rule, like Calvin Ridley with the betting on games, that was a full season. And then when we're talking about, I have an issue with the rule to begin with, because domestic abuse, child abuse, sexual assault, it's 6 games. Tom Brady got 4 games for deflated footballs.
Yes.
So you can abuse a child, you can abuse a woman, and you get 2 more games. So that's a problem in itself that the NFL needs to address. Then we're talking about this particular situation. I want to go back to the Browns organization, okay? So let's deem Deshaun Watson, is innocent. They don't know this yet. So they said that they did their.
How do they not know he's innocent if they're not going to press criminal charges on someone? If they were civil suits, doesn't mean anything. It's just a matter of they can get paid. It's not beyond a reasonable doubt like it is in a criminal case. Now, if the grand jury states that 22 women, they're not going to press charges, and if it was a big serious case, they would press charges. So what are you talking about? This is why I don't like this woke generation, this feminist movement who's trying to take over the family structure of a man leading the house. Molly just lost her husband. She is a bitter feminist woman, and everybody that work for ESPN is these feminist women. And I can't believe the fact that that Stephen A. Smith would even ask this question there, but he's a punk as well. And the reason why I say he's a punk because all he think about is money, because he's about to lose his career trying to defend Ray Rice, and they suspended him because the women was coming after him. And now you're going to sit there and ask this question for an innocent man? He's innocent. Yes, they're going to sue him because they want the bag. Anybody can sue anybody. You can sue anybody for anything, and they'll pay you if they don't want to deal with it. Because sometimes people will pay you off because it might cost way more to defend themselves. So if they can spend $100,000 to pay somebody off, opposed to spending $500,000 fighting the case to say that they're right, why wouldn't they do that? It makes no sense.
Their due diligence in terms of an investigation. Well, you didn't speak to the lawyer, and you didn't speak to any of the women. So could we have some transparency on how you got here? How did you vet this situation? How about you share that with the public? Because based on their independent investigation,
he don't have to share anything because he went to court again and they didn't want to press charges. Now, if they were press charges and he had to go to court, yeah, we can read the transcripts of the court proceedings. But he don't have to do anything right now but play football. And this company is so evil. That's why I don't watch them.
How do we
I watch a clip just to talk about it, but I don't watch them.
know there wasn't just a confirmation bias to make it work so they could get Deshaun Watson?
My challenge to that last assertion you just made is that anytime there's a legal matter that comes up, every client is advised to shut the hell up. It don't matter what it is. I don't know. Listen, I've had issues, and I ain't never been in trouble with the law.
You're supposed to plead the fifth. Didn't you hear? What's your boy's name? Dave Chappelle. I plead the fifth.
No. What I'm saying is when you say, in other words, when you say they didn't talk with the lawyer, they invest.
Look at Molly. She's looking so pissed. This is spiritual, y'all. This is a spiritual moment because she is a feminist. And she wants him to pay.
Investigated. Here's what they investigated. Is he going to play?
Right.
Is he going to be allowed to play?
They didn't talk to the women. There's 22 women.
I understand that. No, we know that.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying. What we're saying is the NFL, let's call it what it is. Those individual teams don't care. What they care about is, can he play?
Well, when are they going to start caring about women? Because 42% of the fan base is female.
But listen, nearly every ad that you see during a game, is promoting, the football is family. And you talk about advancements of women in coaching, women in the front office. That's speaking with a forked tongue. There's no doubt about it. The thing I would say, and I think this is your point, Stephen, this guy's off the field.
Everybody clamoring for their product.
Like I said, they didn't press charges, so let's leave it alone. But this woke generation is woke women all these women working. It is disgusting what's going on in ESPN. Disgusting. Did you see when they boycotted because of what's going on? Because DeSantis want to. Well, actually, the legislators wrote the bill, but basically, they said they don't want 4-year-olds or 5-year-olds or 6-year-olds learning about gay people, and they stepped out the office to boycott. Check this out.
Particularly as an advocate for his LGBTQ plus employees. He says they had a, quote, extraordinary conversation, and there are plans for him to meet the governor with some of his LGBTQ cast members in the future.
He was very open to this conversation and finding out what aspects are most concerning and working to ensure that that could not happen in the state of Florida with this legislation.
The governor's office released a statement confirming the governor spoke with Bob Chapek, and the governor's position has not changed.
So here's what I can tell you. In the state of Florida, we are not going to allow them to inject transgenderism into kindergarten. First graders shouldn't have woke gender ideology imposed in their curriculums, and that is what we're standing for, because we're standing for the kids and we're standing for the parents. And I can tell you this, the chance that I am going to back down from my commitment to students and back down from my commitment to parents' rights simply because of fraudulent media narratives or pressure from woke corporations, the chances of that are zero.
Shout out to DeSantis, man. Like I said, I was on muted. I was muted, but shout out to him. If you want the kids to learn about this, let them learn it older, not when they're young and impressionable. Let them grow as a person. They shouldn't know all this stuff. Now, it's one thing if they're, being raised by a gay family, whatever the case may be, which I disagree with that as well. But if they're doing that, that's one thing. But it doesn't say anywhere in in the bill where you can't talk about gay stuff. It's just about you can't teach this to young kids. It's bad enough that they're putting it in cartoons every chance they get. These nasty people are putting this stuff in these cartoons on ESPN. They're talking about it on Buzz Lightyear is on his new show. I heard he's allegedly kissing some kid. They got gay superheroes now. This is getting out of hand. They got the LGBTQ. They keep adding letters to it. Hopefully they don't put that P word in there, because you're sitting there trying to convince young kids that this is okay. And that's why I love the fact that these transgenders are coming in and destroying these women's sports career. I hope more transgenders come in there and destroy them. I can't wait till that 7-foot transgender basketball player go in there and just beat all their records. That's what I'm looking forward to. So I support it. Because you're making a huge mistake here. So it is what it is. But let me continue to play this.
And when you have companies that have made a fortune off being family friendly and catering to families and young kids, they should understand that parents of young kids do not want this injected into their kids' kindergarten classroom. They do not want their first graders to go and being told that they can choose an opposite gender. That is not appropriate for those kids. And so if you're family friendly, understand the parents who are actually raising families want to have their rights respected. And I also think that if you have companies like a Disney that are going to say and criticize parents' rights, they're going to criticize the fact that we don't want transgenderism in kindergarten and first grade classrooms, if that's the hill that they're going to die on, then how do they possibly explain lining their pockets with their relationship from the Communist Party of China? Because that's what they do, and they make a fortune, and they don't say a word about the really brutal practices.
Nobody says nothing about China, because China got all the money, got all the resources. China's actually taking over Africa right now. They're taking over the country, and all our businesses are over there. All our vaccines are over there. The NBA made most of their money in China ever since Yao Ming started playing basketball in 2001. That's when we did a peace treaty with them, and they don't care because China control everything. You don't want to make them mad. Do you remember when something happened in Hong Kong and the one of the Office team in what team was it? It was Houston Rockets said something about it on Twitter. They asked LeBron about it, and he didn't answer it because they don't really care about that. It's about an agenda. So that's what it's about. And Disney own. There's only 6 companies that own 90% of the media, and that's what they're doing. They're putting all this stuff on there. ESPN is part of Disney, and they changed their whole content to push the agenda.
That you see over there at the hands of the CCP. And so in Florida, our policy is going to be based on the best interest of Florida citizens, not on the musing of corporations.
What you see right here is the walkout. This is the Disney employees walking out because of this bill, this "Don't Say Gay" bill, which they're trying to protect the young kids from learning this too early. Because contrary to most people's belief, if I have my kid at this school and I'm paying taxes too, and I don't want you to push this down my kid's throat, I should have a right for that as well. But they walk out.
Legislation happening in Florida and across other.
Now this is ESPN. This is the commentators and the reporters, and this is what they're doing. They're doing a protest as well to support little kids learning about genitalias.
States as well that are targeting our LGBTQI plus communities. Many of our colleagues here at ESPN have planned and organized a walkout that will be happening at 3 p.m. Eastern today. And to be honest with you, we thought we were going to come here today and really celebrate a sport that has meant so much and done so much, including for so many in the LGBTQI plus communities. But we understand the gravity of this legislation and also how it is affecting so many families across this country. And because of that, our allyship is going to take a front seat. And with that,
and how is it affecting everybody across the country if this is going on in Florida? This is a legislation for Florida, not across the country. So this is what I'm saying. They try to brainwash you on some false narratives here.
we're going to pause in solidarity.
See, women's sports, they're all
Courtney Lyle, Carolyn Peck. Now, normally at this time, we would take a look back at the first half, but there are things bigger than basketball that need to be addressed at this time. Our friends, our family, our coworkers, the players and coaches in our community are hurting right now. And at 3 o'clock, about 8 minutes ago, our LGBTQIA plus teammates at Disney asked for our solidarity and support.
What is QIA? Now, first I heard I, didn't know it was an IA. I'm pretty sure they're going to wait for that P to come on there as well. Trust me.
Including our company's support in opposition to the Parental-Rights in Education bill in the state of Florida and similar legislation across the United States.
And a threat to any human rights is a threat to all human rights. And at this time, Courtney and I, we're going to...
When people want to touch dogs and marry dogs, is that their human right to do it? Or kids? Ain't that a human right? They need to stop this narrative. This narrative that they're doing is disgusting to me, and I could go on forever. I won't. I will be going on T&J Radio tonight, so check us out there. We're probably going to be talking about it. But this is ridiculous right here, what they're doing. And this is media. This is why I'm on here talking, and we have a few other people like Black and White Sports, and Kwame Brown is doing this thing. Like, we have to bring out the media, the real media, and another side to combat this brainwashing that they're doing, this programming that they're doing. They realize they can't change the adults' mind, so they're going to the children. And you don't know because you're working all day. They got your kids. For 12 years, they got your kids. And their whole objective is to get them to think their way and go against their family.
We're going to take a pause from our broadcast to show our love and support for our friends, our families, and our colleagues.
And here's the thing. We all in our families have somebody who's gay, and we support them. We don't hate them. At least not me. And we have family that we love that's gay. That's not the point. I wouldn't sit there and push any type of sexual things activity with the kids. You don't push the fact of heterosexual stuff or homosexual stuff to the kids. They shouldn't even be focusing on that. They should just be learning on being a kid, learning, having fun. They don't need to know this stuff right now. The brains can't process what's going on. I don't sit there and tell my kids when at a young age that, pushing, relationships in their face. That's why I noticed that it's a different agenda.
Good morning, everyone.
It took 6 days for the sheriff's office to.
Now, think about this. Now, this is what I wanted to put, and I'm going to end this here. But there are 100, they did a sting of prostitution, and 108 people in Florida. And 4 of them, let me get the big screen up here. 4 of the people who was arrested were Disney employees, prostitution ring, Disney employees. Where do you find kids? Disney, right? 4 of them that were caught in a prostitution ring about a couple days ago, and they're not broadcasting this. Check this out.
Find 108 people trying to buy or sell sex in Polk County.
Then there's Xavier Jackson. He's 27.
He is accused of sending sexual images to someone he thought was a 14-year-old girl.
Oh, did I mention that he just happens to be a lifeguard at the Polynesian Resort for Disney? You think there's a few children around there?
Sheriff Grady Judd identified several other Disney employees accused of soliciting a prostitute.
This is the Honorable Daniel Peters.
Sheriff Judd said Peters is a retired judge from Cook County, Illinois, who thought he was meeting up with an escort.
A retired judge. These are the leaders.
He said, quote, "I've been on the other side of this." Well, I'd like to ask him today, so which side do you like best?
In one case, detectives had to reschedule a meeting. The sheriff says Bradenton's Seth Phillips demanded money anyway and showed up at the house with his girlfriend and a gun.
We opened the door with 4 of our guys with guns, and he's got a gun above his head. He's coming down with his gun. Christina saves his life by jumping in front of him.
Nobody was hurt, but they were both taken into custody.
That's all I got to say here. This is what we fight, folks. It's deeper than sports. This is why I discussed this today. And I will continue to discuss it. We'll discuss it tonight on TNJ Radio. I'm going to play my sponsors real quick. I really appreciate everybody hitting the Cash App. Also, Super Chat. Appreciate it. And I want to play a few of our sponsors for today. Check this out.
Worrying about a legal problem like a consumer issue, medical bill, real estate transaction, landlord-renter dispute, traffic ticket, or estate planning? Legal issues are a part of life, but that doesn't make handling them any less confusing, frustrating, devastating, or even crushing. And lawyers are expensive. There's a better way. Legal Shield gives you advice and counsel from reputable lawyers near you. Our caring and dedicated law firms can help you with a wide range of legal matters, all for less than $1 a day. Protecting and empowering you with a law firm in the palm of your hand. The Legal Shield mobile app can help you begin preparing your will, take pictures of a traffic ticket and securely submit it directly to your law firm and speak to a lawyer with just the press of a button. Or call 24/7, 365 in an emergency. Legal Shield protects over 1.8 million households in all 50 states, plus Canada, liberating our clients from legal frustration.
Yeah, man. So this is why we talking about this, man. Definitely support the channel. Hit the Cash App, LJ or report 412. Also, hold on. Yeah, so definitely hit the Cash App. Also hit the Super Chat, and I'll put the link down if you want to get more information about Legal Shield, basically where you can get unlimited phone consultation on unlimited matters, get your contracts reviewed, and also handle personal situations like speeding tickets and also wills on affordable cost. Check out in the description box below, and also check out afjcworldwide.com. We get the apparel. Check out one of our sponsors, afjcworldwide.com. That is afjcworldwide.com for our latest apparel, homeware, and drinkware. Definitely get a shirt for your husband, wife, doesn't matter. Again, check out afjcworldwide.com. All right, man. I will see y'all later. And if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. Peace.